Having said that, I'm going to now hand over my mic to the moderator, please.
Thank you very much, MC, for this session. And I know that it's challenging time after a very delicious lunch. I hope that this session is eye-opening for you, especially keeping waking up. And it's the same thing with the speakers and myself. So just to make it short, this session is on bridging sustainability and inclusive innovation. Definitely, sustainability is the ability to maintain continuity, while inclusive innovation is the development of new products, services, and processes that are designed to meet the needs of people. Actually, these two words are interrelated and interlinked. As we are exploring AI cooperation between ASEAN and Korea, we have with us in this session 4 distinguished speakers giving us their thoughts and insights in 4 issues that are interlinked again. The first speaker is Burin Adulwattana, Chief Economist and Managing Director of Kasikorn Research from Thailand. And he will touch upon the sub-theme of assessing the economic implications of AI and ESG in ASEAN. Burin holds the Master's in Economics from University of Cambridge. Prior to his joining Kasikorn Bank, he has impressive experiences in the financial sector with Credit Agricole Hong Kong, Bank of Thailand, and Bangkok Bank. So give him a loud applause. The second speaker is Kun Andrew Shang, Partner and Asia Pacific Sustainability Leader of PwC Malaysia, who will touch upon AI impacting climate agenda in ASEAN. Kun Andrew has established and led the sustainability and climate change practice of PwC in Southeast Asia since 2007, that is 18 years ago. He worked extensively with investors to progress on sustainability responses, as well as to broaden their perspective value creation covering intangible aspects such as governance, employee engagement, and social impact and environmental performance. Within ASEAN process, he is member of the advisory panel for the Joint Sustainable Finance Working Group for ASEAN Working Group Committee on Capital Market Development and the ASEAN Capital Market Forum. Very impressive indeed. And internationally, he's also the member of Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero Working Group on Mobilization Capital to Emerging Markets and Developing Economies. Just to the audience, to elaborate to the audience, the Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero, or GFA and Z, sorry for that, it's quite long, is a private sector-led initiative focused on mobilizing capital and removing barriers to investment in the global transition. And it was launched in 2021 by the UN Special Envoy on Climate Action and Finance, Mark Carney, and at the COP26 presidency to accelerate the transition to a net zero global economy. Very impressive. Round of applause, please. Actually, the applause is to test if you are listening to me. The third speaker is Kun Diera Gala Paksi. He's the project manager for AI Ready ASEAN of ASEAN Foundation. He will touch upon ASEAN-Korea cooperation for AI inclusivity. He is a seasoned CSR consultant with over 14 years of experience in designing and implementing technology-driven CSR initiatives. He is experienced in advancing peace building through digital inclusion, misinformation resilience, and community engagement across Southeast Asia. Another round of applause. The fourth speaker, not the least important, is Kun Park Jun-weon. He asked me to call him Kun Andy. Kun Andy is the partner and leads ESG DX of SK Inc., mainly focusing on DT-based ESG data management solutions. He has also led SK Chemicals ESG management across the board for climate change response, global ESG rating, ESG data disclosures, making SK Chemicals to achieve remarkable results in terms of global ESG rating in 2022. He will touch upon human-centered AI governance, balancing innovation and responsibility. So give him another round of applause. So I, as the moderator of this 90-minute session, is to give each speaker 10 minutes presentation. After the first round, I will ask specific questions to each speaker to elaborate further. After the second round, I'll intend to open the question from the floor. With this, I will start with the economic dimension with Kun Burin. You have the floor.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. So I would like to begin with the framework that I have thinking about AI and ESG, which is quite a wide topic. It's only 10 minutes, but me and my team was trying to think what we should talk about in Korea. That is trying to pander to the Korean audience as well as interesting for us in ASEAN. So let me just begin by just saying that I think AI will have a profound impact on the economic outlook for the next several years. I think this is an estimate done by McKinsey saying that it will have an uplift of the GDP of adding to about 10 to 18% for the next 5 years or so. But of course, this is the potential that we have. But we are not talking about the inequality side, because we are talking about inclusive innovation. So I think a lot of it will boost the GDP growth, but it may leave somebody behind. But we'll talk about that later. But let's look at the positive side first. So 18% in the likes of Singapore, in Thailand is 13%. Let me just focus on what I think AI will have an impact on, especially in Thailand. So I would try to look at this from the Thai angle. I'll give you a bit of a background. In Thailand, 30% of the workforce is in agriculture, 10% is in government. So I always say these are not the most productive in Thailand. I'm not saying that everyone in civil service, in government is not productive, but overall the productivity level is much lower than the service sector or the manufacturing sector. So we have 40% of our workforce that have not really used AI because of the legal, which we'll talk about, the legal, the cultural side, constraint that have been there. In Thailand, agriculture is still very, I would say backward in terms of technology. We have not really applied the latest technology to improve our farming yield and, etc. So that is the thing that AI can do. AI can help us, what sort of crops should be planted in this land, what about the water management, these things AI can definitely help. Obviously, with government, AI could help improve transparency. It could help improve, efficiency and trustworthiness. Because I think not sure. I think in Thailand, a lot of business people say that sometimes we don't trust the process that let's say government auction or we try to get a license. It's not so transparent. Why? We need to wait for 3 months. But these are delaying tactics. But with AI automation, I think these can go away. So we see obvious improvement that could come from AI. Another part is we have a problem of we lack skilled labor, so that we need to improve our education. I think AI will help level the playing field. I think there is such vast inequality that the quality of education in Bangkok compared to the rest of the country is just so wide. The gap is so wide, and that is just perpetuating inequality throughout the Thai society. So I think AI, can be applied for education, can help students learn whether you're in Bangkok or up north in Thailand or down south. You should get the same level of education. We will provide the ladder Whether the kids want to climb or not, it's up to them. It's their willingness, but we'll provide opportunity for everybody in Thailand. So I think this will help boost inclusiveness in terms of education and opportunities in life, in terms of getting a better job later on. So these are a few of the areas that I can think of. But then we have the readiness. We have this AI readiness index. So we have like Singapore who's leading the pack, and then followed by Malaysia, and then followed by Thailand. But let me just give you an example. We think that we have all this technology which is ready to be deployed. But for some cultural reason, we don't try to use it. I think we had this discussion at lunch. Sometimes some people can be replaced by machine or AI, but we don't do it in Thailand. It's because there will be a huge backlash, especially for a private sector like bank like Kasikorn or government. Imagine that government one day will come and say, okay, we're going to replace 100,000 people because we don't need them. We can use AI, and that's going to be a huge political backlash and political pushback. It could be a riot, what you see happening in France and other parts of the world. So these are the cultural, the government support, the laws and regulation. Another thing that we could see is AI could come with improving healthcare, access to healthcare for everybody in Thailand. But who's going to be responsible if an old person living in the upcountry in Thailand see AI doctor and get the wrong medicine? Who's going to be responsible for that? So I think there's a need for AI to complement, not to replace the healthcare worker. But there are some obstacles that we need to overcome. So that's why we see the potential of AI. But whether we can realize it as we want to go along as fast as we can, that's another question. Institutional framework, the tradition, the culture. So that will be another thing that I'm sure is applicable to everyone, not just in ASEAN, it's across the world too. But I want to lead you to another take on AI. Now this, the benefit that AI could bring, but whether we are ready to use AI, I think another thing that people don't talk about is the infrastructure that we have. Whether it's enough or sufficient, especially the energy infrastructure. What comes with AI is we need data center. With data centers comes the need for electricity. So now you can see the map that I have the existing data center capacity across ASEAN. You see, leading the pack is Singapore, and then followed by Malaysia. But now Thailand is getting the recognition. Why? Because I think there's no more land in Singapore. Electricity is scarce. Same thing with Malaysia. I think Malaysia said, oh, we have enough. So now a lot of FDI that we see come into the country is all about data center. But then again, this infrastructure, huge amount of money coming, 20-25% of FDI now is into data center. It will require a lot of electricity, a lot of land, a lot of water. There will be environmental cost. But it's not inclusive because we estimate that it might create jobs in the in the tunes of 300 to 500 people. It's not like the old school manufacturing where it creates thousands and thousands of jobs. So who will benefit from this? People who sell electricity, people who have real estate land, but not much else. So the infrastructure will take up a lot of resources in our country with AI, but then the people are not benefiting. So this is another side of the coin. Another thing that we have looked at is the data center that we have. So it's concentrated in the likes of Bangkok, and in that place down here, I don't know if you can see it, we call it the EEC, Eastern Economic Corridor. Why is there such a concentration in data center? Why don't we put data center in all the remote places? So, the land could get more used, there's more electricity, more jobs perhaps. But we can't because we need a subsea cable, the cable under the sea, the data cable, and that all goes into the EEC. So all the data center will be, concentrated there. So again, it's not inclusive, it's not distributive, It's just concentrated in the main area. So that's what we see now. What about the cost? We say that it takes up lots of land, but it requires a lot of water to cool them down. And Thailand is quite unique. We have flooding and drought at the same time in the same year, but in different places. So we see that some countries they don't want data center now because there's so much pressure on their water resources. In Thailand, we have lots of water, but in the area that we need the data center, we don't have enough water for our industrial use, especially data center. So this is another thing that we have to think about, the environmental impact. Another thing is we look at the infrastructure. Now we use natural gas to power our electricity, to electrify the whole country. But this is not going in the way of net zero, carbon neutrality that we pledge with COP. So this is what we have to think about. How do we get more renewable energy into the mix? So there is a huge potential in Thailand, but because of regulation that is putting that on the back foot. But I think now the new government is going to encourage or ensure that there's more renewable, because I think data center will need more green energy, and green energy in Thailand will come from solar energy because we have lots of sunshine. If you ever visit Thailand, we've got plenty of sunshine, more than 300 days of sunshine, and more than 8 hours a day. So this is ripe for taking opportunity to get that started in Thailand. So we have huge potential in that. But of course, we need battery because sunshine, sadly, it only comes during daytime. So at nighttime, we need battery to help this. And also we need renewable energy like hydropower, which we can connect from Laos. So there will be a huge, restructuring, rearranging of power structure, electricity power structure in ASEAN because of this AI and the use of clean electricity. What about collaboration with Korea? I will spend 2 more minutes. I think, with Korea, I think there's a partnership that, Korea can help us with waste management, and also with the carbon pricing. I think Korea started ETS back in 2015. So I think that's something that we are trying to do in Thailand in particular. I think they've been talking about this for the past few years, but they've not really got started because every time they try to put carbon taxes, the government push back. I had this talk at lunch. Our Thai government wanted to increase VAT, the value-added tax, for the past 30 years. They have not been able to do so. So I think with carbon tax, it's going to be even harder because, I think sometimes with environmental costs, it's all about education. It's the level of income. So I think, sometimes we call this, it's a first world problem. So trying to communicate that you have to pay more for your electricity, pay more for your gas, for your petrol, while they don't understand about climate change, it's going to be quite a big, difficult political football to pass around. Another thing that I did mention is the water management. I think Korea is very good with this. So I think you can help us manage the water better for use in agriculture and for use for data center. So I want to leave that. The last one is with data center, you need clean energy. I think to support the rising exponential growth in data center and power requirement, I think we will need to go for nuclear. And I think Korea is very strong in the nuclear power for electricity. I think none of us in ASEAN have adopted nuclear power yet, for various reasons. But I think sooner or later, with the demand for data center power, I think nuclear will have to come into play. And I think it's also listed in the power development plan for Thailand that we're going to have nuclear in the mix in the next 15 years. So I think that is somewhere where we can collaborate with Thai and ASEAN and Korea. Okay, that's it for my part. So sorry for taking too much time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Khun Burin. Definitely, you have touched on various aspects, especially in giving you the Thailand's model on economic side. And I would like to say that nuclear is not something that ASEAN has not been discussing about. We have discussed, but only on the research and studies stage. So with that, everybody have heard of on economic side. We now will go towards the environmental aspect. I give the floor to Kun Andrew.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you to AKC for the invitation. I have a lot of slides, but I'm not going to go through all of them in detail. They're in your participant decks. So I'd say anytime a consultant gives you something free, just take it. So there's more information here than you need. What I will just do a quick recap. Kun Burin highlighted some of this already. Here are just some stats. The data center growth in ASEAN is big, and it has a corresponding energy demand increase. What I would like to do is just split this up. So Kun Burin talked about who benefits from data centers. If you look at the chart on the left, the split between operational emissions versus in-building emissions, you see that more of it comes from operations. On the chart on the right, the gray line versus the orange line. Gray line is business as usual. Orange line is the increase in emissions from that projected data center growth. If I just highlight some of the emissions that come from the building of the data center, you're looking at resource extraction, whether that's cement or minerals, metals, the manufacturing of it itself, and the overall building construction. Again, you could almost consider it like a property development, but the economic benefits are very, very narrow. Just to support some of the comments as well from Kun Burin, he also talked about water impact. I've got some stats on the left there about water impacts, but also think about e-waste increase. What do we do with that e-waste that's being generated from those data centers? Okay, it's not just the data centers themselves, also involves things like the equipment used in testing and so on. So on an environmental side, just from that section, we can say, yes, there's quite a bit of additional environmental impact, negative environmental impact from data centers. If we flip it to the other side of things, say, how can AI support us in our climate response? The good news is that there is good news to this as well. Examples. Again, I'm not going to go through this. This is in your pack, but we pulled up some examples to say there's already quite a lot of startups in this area. Kun Burin mentioned agri sector. That's one of the key areas, especially for the ASEAN region. But we're also looking at a lot of the play seems to be helping with efficiency. And anytime we talk about efficiency on the sustainability side, talk about more efficient use of materials, so less wastage is produced, more efficient use of energy, so you're not paying as much per unit of product developed, you're not paying as much energy or generating as much GHG. Okay, that has corresponding knock-on effects for when carbon tax and so on comes in. A framework that might help you and may support when we go through the rest of the panelists as well. This is just a framework we use in PwC to look at the AI linkages to sustainability. So I'll cover a little bit more on that environmental side, but it also flags governance and social impact areas as well. Okay, so could act as a bit of a checklist. Are you doing this in your organizations across the different dimensions? Highlighted some sectors that I think might have more relevance between the ASEAN-Korea linkage as well. Logistics, renewable energy, manufacturing, including semiconductors, agriculture sector, and just overall corporate response to the sustainability agenda as well. I have a separate page per sector. I'll just spotlight a couple of them. So what I tried to do here is just highlight whether they're Korean companies or ASEAN companies, just to indicate to you that we're not starting from zero, things are happening already. If we look in the logistics side of things, Korean company Hyundai, this is focused around optimization in logistics supply chain. Okay, so that's one of the examples I talked about, is a common one, is around optimization. Similarly, we talk about renewable energy sector, also looking at the story of optimization. So this could be grid optimization. An example from Korea is the Jeju Island renewable energy microgrid, but AI supporting things around like load balancing, grid stability, and so on. You also need optimization of these renewable energy systems, start moving to smart grids. When does battery get used, or whether you use like pumped storage or other forms of storage, but that optimization and the complexity to blend that with existing fossil fuel infrastructure, and not that you'll load balance on the nuclear side of things, but if you have an interconnected grid, again, AI to manage that in real time. Okay, also cover some examples from manufacturing sector. We can look again at things like optimization. Logistics comes into this as well, especially if you're trying to do just-in-time manufacturing processes, trying to keep your inventory and working capital as low as possible, then you need that help to optimize, especially as supply chains globally are starting to get a little bit more disruptive. Okay, we saw that from the impact of COVID. We saw that when a barge got stuck in the Panama Canal and so on. So disruptions in supply chains are happening. Burin mentioned agri-sector and some examples there, so I skipped through that as well. What I would say is, for companies here around your corporate response to sustainability, AI can help you. And to Dr. John's point on the first panel, SMEs, it can do a lot of help for SMEs at very low cost. So we like the application of sustainability of AI to also drive efficiency in the corporate response side of things. One of those areas is data. Getting data and managing data better. Companies struggling on scope 3, those companies here who are trying to deal with scope 3, you'll know that it's a very complex area. AI can help us, but it's only as good as the data that is fed into AI. Okay, that holds true with any technology. Cannot work magic unless the data going into it is good. Okay. So on a net basis, our research, I think I've got a link there if you want to click through onto that. Our research for different scenarios all shows that AI has a net negative emissions impact, which means good, but it's marginal. It's worth pointing out in all three scenarios, it's marginal because it means that enabling factors need to be properly considered. If we don't get the enabling factors done well, we might not be able to deliver this net negative emissions impact. Some of those challenges, when I talk about can we actually implement this well, there's a definite skills gap. And I would extend that into governance as well. Do the policymakers have the right skill set for AI as well as sustainability to be able to put the right policies together? Are we developing the corporate and the working sector with the right skill sets to deliver this change as well? The balance or misalignment, environmental goals versus commercial goals. This is something we deal with every day in the world of sustainability. AI being designed for commercial outcomes versus being asked to balance social, environmental concerns as well. Who's helping train up those AI models? What philosophy is going in to that AI model. ASEAN is not the same as the rest of the world. Okay, we know this. ASEAN taxonomy, for example, we have a traffic light system versus the EU taxonomy is very black and white. You're either in or you're not. So tailoring the solutions to fit for the ASEAN context, it will need investment. It will need talent to support that development. I talked about the quality of data going into AI, so that still exists. AI cannot solve everything. You still need the agreements for companies, governments to feed data in to AI models. I deal with some governments, they've got climate data, but it's under Official Secrets Act, so it doesn't get shared much. So you're saying, how can corporates support the response at the national level when you're not sharing some of this data with them? Okay, so real challenges like that. And then how do we deploy finance? I'm glad we've got Burin and a bank, a very big bank here as well, around the financial and deployment of finance. I'm going to end with just some examples of potential ASEAN-Korea collaboration. First of all, from a sector side of things, these are a couple of the sectors that I spotlighted just now. I think there's a lot of good examples of how Korean companies are optimizing around logistics and supply chain. ASEAN needs that, especially given the interconnectedness of ASEAN, the trade globally that ASEAN generates. A bit of optimization could actually save an awful lot of money, have a big GDP impact. I think Burin talked about renewable energy as well. Again, Korea very strong at renewable energy, smart grids, optimization. ASEAN grid systems need that scale up. Okay, it's very heavily configured for fossil fuel. Some of it, we're still talking about reliability of grids. We need to step up in terms of getting into that smart grid system. Manufacturing and high-tech sector, as well as agriculture support. Okay, so just some sectors if I had to shortlist, just a handful of sectors. And then we talk about cross-sector enablers, talk about capability and training already, potentially looking at joint research and development, strategic investments, and this can include cross-border. Do we look at ASEAN as a collection of separate countries? Do we look at optimization? One of the things that we talk about is, again, from that map that Burin showed, where should data centers be and who's hosting what, whose data? So you might have to have data centers for data sovereignty, but when you're talking about optimizing where else the rest of data centers go in ASEAN, is there agreement between the countries? Who's in the best position? Is there some form of economic sharing as well? And that extends to technology transfer considerations. And then how does policy and regulatory support this type of collaboration? Okay, I will end it there.
Thank you, Kun Andrew. And I hope everybody is eye-opening because he has given the consultant advice without the money. So, as we have heard from the economic and environmental side, now we are going to the social dimension, which is equally important and very critical. With that, I give the floor to Kun Diera.
Thank you. Annyeonghaseyo. My name is Diera Paksi and currently serving as a project manager for AI Ready ASEAN. Hope you still feeling energized, yeah, because this is like a critical moment after the luncheon. So yeah, I'm gonna start with the introduction about the AI Foundation. Maybe some of you haven't heard about the ASEAN Foundation before. So ASEAN Foundation is established in December 1997. We are working as an intergovernmental organization under the ASEAN body, working as an ASEAN body under the ASEAN Charter. Our mission is to promoting ASEAN awareness through people-to-people connection and building collaboration with all stakeholders in all ASEAN member states. Our main beneficiaries is the youth age between 15 to 35, and our work span across 6 thematic pillars, which is arts and culture, business community engagement, community building, education, environment, and also media. So I'm gonna start with ASEAN's economy landscape. As of 2024, ASEAN's economy reached around 3.8 trillion US dollar, positioning as the fifth largest economy globally, while the services and also digital sectors contributing more than a half. So for the AI itself, not only is a technology shift for the ASEAN, but also provide economic opportunity. So based on the research from the Google Temasek and Bain in 2024, around 30 billion US dollar was invested into AI infrastructure, investment, and potentially add up to 18% ASEAN GDP by 2030. So from the regulatory side, we have like numerous regulation frameworks and guidance to regulate AI, like ASEAN Digital Master Plan 2025, and we are currently developing the upcoming ASEAN Digital Master Plan 2030, ASEAN Responsible AI Roadmap 2025 to 2030, ASEAN Guide on AI Governance and Ethics, and many more. So in the rapid development of AI, AI Ready ASEAN program is conducting a regional study to measure AI readiness with the KMUTT, King Mongkut's University of Technology Thonburi, Thailand, together with the MIT Media Lab. So this is to measure not only the ability to use AI, but also the willingness to integrate possibly AI into learning and teaching. While the finding is striking, where we found that around 72.4% of students and 70.5% of educators have never taken an AI course before. While on the educator side, the report shows confidence in terms of AI, but when tested, we've seen that the actual literacy is limited. From the student side, they show like enthusiastic, optimistic, but they tend to overestimate their skill. Majority of the ASEAN community, most likely they are using AI for the simple tasks like searching and writing. While for the if we compare the urban areas with the remote areas, so I think in the big cities they already familiar with AI and they already embedded into the curriculum. While from the remote areas, they're still struggling with the connectivity, leaving many behind. So through these findings, we found that the excitement without real skill is not enough. So ASEAN needs more structure, needs more inclusivity, ethical guidance to ensure that AI is the tools to empower, not the technology that widen the inequality. So right now, we have seen a lot of investment have been secured in terms of AI, a lot of regulation, frameworks, and guidance. However, for the implementation side, we have seen that this is still in the early stages. Why? Because we are facing a lot of challenges like lack of AI fluency skill, disparity on AI adoption, insufficient resources, lacking of AI integration. So that's why AI Ready ASEAN is here, trying to bridge this gap. So what is AI Ready ASEAN? AI Ready ASEAN program is a multi-year initiative. We just launched this initiative last year in October 2024, and we hope to empower around 5.5 million beneficiaries, comprises of youth, parents, and also educators, by the AI literacy training and ethical use of AI. So we have like 6 key initiatives. The first one is awareness raising on AI. So we like to excite the 5.5 million beneficiaries through our Of Code campaign, combining with the local approach to ensure suited with the local context. And then we have like a training of trainers and in-depth beneficiaries training. This is to, we aim to train around 2,000 master trainers and cascading knowledge into 800,000 beneficiaries who like to dive deeper on the AI and also ethical use of AI. While in relevant to this, we have like e-learning platform. We call it like AI Class ASEAN. This is to support the TOT and in-depth beneficiaries training, which has like a special features like AI chatbot, multilingual, and then discussion forum that can be translated into 10 national languages. For AI chatbot, we are working together with the Sea Lion. This is like a regional LLM platform. And can be translated into multinational languages in ASEAN. So this is from the grassroots side. So from the policy level, we also organize the policy roundtable discussion, which is divided into the regional and national policy convening. And then research development, the one I've mentioned before, and then ASEAN Digital Outlook. This is like more into the joint initiative with the Digital Economic Division under the ASEAN Secretariat and IDG SOM, ASEAN Digital Senior Officials Meeting on AI, to ensure that, so the output is like comprises of article from 10 ASEAN member states, emerging trends, and also policy recommendation. So how we have embedded the social impact or social values into the AI Ready ASEAN program, because as we can see ASEAN today, there's like low on AI literacy, and then common misconception on how AI could replace or reduce jobs, and then access to future ready skill is not equitable. So if this is left unaddressed, then the gap could leave the entire communities left behind. So that's why we are using like a dual approach, which is bottom-up approach and top-down approach. For the bottom-up, we are conducting like large-scale awareness raising on AI campaign, TOT and in-depth beneficiaries training, e-learning platform, and we are working with the 23 local implementing partners, where all of them are CSO, civil society organization. So from the top-down approach, we have like a regional and national policy convening. We have like a regional study to measure AI readiness, ASEAN Digital Outlook. So for the impact itself, we have divided into 3 categories, which is the short term to excite more beneficiaries on AI and ethical use of AI. For the medium term, we are focusing to cascading the knowledge, the teaching practices shifting, and then from the we can also build like a more sustainable learning ecosystem. For the long run, we hope that we could embed the AI into classroom, national curricula, strengthening the ASEAN cooperation and in terms of digital transformation and also AI. But the most important thing is how we could embed social values into this program, which is we are working with the LIPs and ensuring that they reach out to most vulnerable groups, such as like people with disabilities, indigenous, people from low-income families, female, and so forth. So this is aligned with the JADC principles, strengthening ASEAN Human Development Index, contributing to SDGs number 4, 5, 10, and 17, and also aligned with the S, the social value in ESGs. So the true meaning of this program lies on the story from the ground. I think we have like a more local champion here. We have like a Mel Serenifort, a teacher from Cambodia, who trained around 800 plus master trainers and cascading knowledge into thousands of classrooms in remote areas in Cambodia. He believed that AI could bridge the gap to opportunities beyond his rural community. So another thing, we have like a student named Nabila. She lived in remote areas in Indonesia, and she joined our training without hesitation. Now she discovered that her dream to become IT engineer, and which is something that she had never imagined before. We have also Tidung, a mother in Vietnam. She joined our training, and she felt that now she can keep up with the trends on AI and understand better on AI tools. And then the training boosts her confidence and prevent her from the misinformation and scams. So as part of this journey, we also received a principal endorsement from the ASEAN bodies, such as ASEAN Senior Official Meeting on Youth, and also ASEAN Working Group on AI Governance. On the other side, we also working together with the Digital Economic Division from the ASEAN Secretariat to develop the ASEAN Digital Outlook, comprises of policy recommendation, articles, and also emerging trends that we hope we could launch this outlook together with the research by next year under the IDG meeting. So yeah, I think this is something, the potential avenues that we can collaborate. The first one is like, I think Korea has best practices in R&D, ecosystem, policy related to AI. So I think it will be good if Korea could also share the best practices into our regional event. We could also, building like a pilot program beyond the education sector, not only education, but also like health, business, IT, media, and so forth. Another thing is we could also explore the talent exchange through like a fellowship, internship program, and other initiative. So because I believe through collaboration, we could, benefiting not only the economies but also the people. Thank you. Kamsahamnida.
Thank you, Kun Diera, for giving us the overview, especially from the ASEAN side, so that the audience from the Korean companies and investors can see what is in reality in ASEAN. And definitely, out of the 70% that you have indicated on the AI illiterate, there's me in that 70%. Maybe I need to have ASEAN Foundation education. Okay, with that, now we go to the corporate sector. So may I give the floor to Kun Andy, Kun Park Jun-weon.
Hello, distinguished guest. Thank you for coming out of your busy schedule. Actually, I'm not comfortable, so because I'm the first Korean speaker. Yeah. So actually, my name is Jun-weon Ba. In English name is Andy Park. I'm responsible for ESG, digital transformation of SK at SKAX. So actually this subject is not exactly my area of expertise, but I'd like to share some insights with you moving forward. I'd like to start with this slide. What do you think of the first thinking? So when you take a look at this. So could you tell me, our moderator, what do you think about first feeling?
A big brain.
So actually, I do not feel the sort of humanism, and then also I feel a little bit scary. So I think this is going to be our, in other words, maybe future. So you need to balance the AI-driven innovation and human-centered AI governance. That's why I'd like to show some indications about this subject. As you see the slide, the artificial intelligence is evolving at a unprecedented pace. Global AI market forecast grow by nearly 37% annually, reaching $1.3 trillion by year 2030. AI journey began decades ago with the Turing test, as you know, and has since evolved with machine learning, deep learning, and the landmark of success of AlphaGo. Today, the generative AI is transforming how we create, analyze, and make decisions. For ASEAN and Korea alike, this means AI is not only a tool, it is becoming an essential infrastructure for the competitiveness and the sustainable development. Generative AI tool can write, code, create image and video, solve complex problems, and assist in decision making. This opens tremendous opportunities in healthcare, education, agriculture, and finance. The generative AI market is expanding rapidly, and global tech companies are launching new tools every day. This is not only a business opportunities, but also a major social change. We are now moving from software to hardware, and AI is expected to transform our daily life. However, with these opportunities, come risks as well. As you are aware of that, generative AI has great potential, but it also brings the serious risks. The first, bias and discrimination. And second, is hallucination is a big problem. AI sometimes produce convincing but false answer. This can mislead the decision making in healthcare, education, or financial markets. Third, data leaks, privacy breaches. Sensitive data used to train AI can be exposed. Once leaked, it is nearly impossible to fully recover, creating legal and reputation risk. Finally, deepfake fraud. The criminals has used AI generated video and voice to pretend to be executives, causing employees to send money by mistake. AI can be misused this way. These risks are not the technical issues alone. They are governance issues about how we design, manage, and regulate AI responsibly. Now let's move on to how we can build a strong AI governance framework. To address these challenges, you need a robust AI governance framework. The hourglass model is one of approach. It shows how external rules, principles must align with the internal corporate strategy, management value, and AI system design. Three key elements stand out: alignment, commitment, risk management. To make governance work, companies need clear alignment with rules and principles, strong executive leadership and professional skills, risk management systems and technical support. Governance must evolve continuously, just like AI itself. Korea has been working on this through policy development. Let's look at the Korean policy status. Korea has introduced several policies to guide responsible AI. Let me share some representative examples. We have the Artificial Intelligence Basic Act, launched in year 2023, which defines AI and sets directions for safe development. The second one is AI ethics guidelines, announced in year 2020, and the Generative AI ethics guideline, announced in year 2023. So lastly, national strategy in year 2019 for AI competitiveness, education, and international cooperation. The message is very clear. AI must be human-centered and trustworthy. Since their revision in year 2020, discussions about ethical AI has become stronger. The government is promoting AI development, also focusing on the preventing misuse. This balance between innovation and responsibility is a key part of AI governance. And next, I'll summarize the main implications for companies and organizations. So we have the four main takeaways. The first one, the purpose clarification. That we need to clarify AI objectives, enhance customer experience, improve service quality, and optimize the value chain. The second takeaway is the security and ethics. It means concerns about data security, privacy, and bias persist that we need to consider security and ethical factors when using AI. The third investment, that we need to secure AI competitiveness, expand diverse support and investment for organizational change and enhanced technology. Finally, the collaboration. It means to collaborate with specialized AI companies through strategic partnership and investments. So now I'd like to share some the use cases. SK Group is developing AI-powered CDP system. The CDP means the Carbon Disclosure Project, which is a global initiative that encourages companies, cities to disclose their environmental impact. Here, AI generates draft answers for about 200 CDP questions. It prepares document, the convert format, and even shows preliminary scores automatically. But importantly, humans also read the final answers. This combination, AI for efficiency and human for responsibility, is the essence of human-centered AI governance. This use case shows that AI does not replace people. Instead, it supports them. The human role remains very critical to ensure fairness, accuracy, and accountability. So I'd like to offer the Asian country. So Korea is ready to work with Asian partners in 3 major areas. The first one, the capacity building. The joint curriculum with the Asian universities, faculty training, online lectures, and field training and internship. The second one is social innovations. AI project for the telemedicine, online education, smart agriculture, and disaster management. The last one is public partnership. The policy councils, regulatory sandboxes, and sharing of public data for innovation. So together you can ensure that AI contribution not only to economic growth, but also to solve urgent social and environmental challenges. That's all I have. Actually, I updated some slide. It's not reflected here now. Yeah, okay. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Kun Andy, for elaborating on your presentation. It's very useful. And as all the speakers have present their presentation, as I indicated for the second round, I would like to give some questions to each individual speaker to elaborate and to give your own maybe personal insight or professional insight. Let me start with Kun Burin. As you know, economic analysis from Kasikon Research Center is very prominent in Thailand as well as in ASEAN. And you have mentioned about agriculture in many times in your presentation. What strategies can government adopt to elevate AI for sustainable competitiveness while safeguarding against climate risk? Maybe you can give us Thailand model if ASEAN is a little bit too big, because ASEAN is quite diverse in a way. And another very simple question is that can smart agriculture, as Kun Andy has indicated, in your perspective, be an area where ASEAN and ROK can collaborate more? Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are aware that in Thailand we have just a new government. So I don't think this government is talking about AI just yet. I think they're forming the cabinet just now. But I think overall, in terms of AI adoption, I think a lot of the past few governments talk a lot about AI, but the adoption, I think it will take time, because I think there's, like I said, institutional culture that, some people fear the change. Even at bank, I think we're quite fearful of changes. A lot of people fear that AI might replace them, so they try to resist some change. We say we need new AI for our help, especially at my research team. A lot of people are so far they're quite averse to changes. I said I want to bring in more tools. They drag their feet. They put up some resistance, and I'm sure this is happening across, not just in banks but every other organization as well. For example, let me just give you, even before the AI, generative AI that we've been talking about for the past few years, in Thailand now we are closing down bank branches. So the number of bank branches are down by about a third now. And now we don't lay off people because the branches are closed, but the skill set that they have are for, handling people walking into the branch. So now we have to find something else for them to do. So now it's not because we have new technology, but what do we do with these people, the legacy people that we have? And I'm sure there will be loads in the government sector. If we have digital government, driven by AI, it's going to boost efficiency. But what do we do with the career path of civil servants who have been there for 30 years, just doing, documentation and licensing? So how do we deal with that? So I think that would be a roadblock. We have AI, we have the tools. How do we get everyone to go ahead together? And how do we take care of the people who AI will have a negative impact on? I think that is going to be the key, not just for Thailand, but everybody else. In terms of agriculture, I think AI can help by reducing workforce. I think now we have too many people in agriculture, about 30% of our labor, and they're normally the poorest in the society. Their incomes are sporadic, their incomes are quite low, and they're perpetuated in debt. So I think what we like to do is to get them to migrate out of farming, and if we could use AI and robots to do manual labor instead of these people, that would be a great help. But a lot of Thailand, I don't know if you guys know, but we have this very small scale farming. The grandfather had this huge plot of land, and then divide it among 10 kids, and then the 10 kids have 30, 35 grandkids. So they're all divided into small subplots, and they still hold on to this little land that they have without migrating to someone else. So we like to do large scale farming so you can get benefit from economies of scale. But we have to find a way for them to migrate. So this will be a government policy that we might need.
Thank you very much, Kun Burin. Now I go to Kun Andrew. Kun Andrew, in order to, with your consultant advices, in order to regulate AI's environmental impacts while fostering innovation, could you give us your advice on what governance model that would be appropriate, especially from the ASEAN side? And could this be an area, a potential area of cooperation between ASEAN and Korea? Thank you.
Thank you for that one. I think we've got precedents that we can lean on. So I'd say we're looking at a hybrid governance model. If I draw a parallel first, then I'll come back to sustainability and AI. But if I look at the ASEAN taxonomy, so we're looking in the finance space. ASEAN taxonomy, it looked at the EU taxonomy to guide the development. I mentioned in my presentation, we actually adopted a traffic light system. So we put an amber category, which the EU doesn't have. And what we also allowed for is, whilst we structured sector coverage and the key principles, at the ASEAN level, we allowed for country thresholds. So each country could set its own threshold based on its own readiness. So I think having that sort of holistic principles-based approach that covers an ASEAN level, that allows for country level thresholds to be set based on readiness and commitments looks like an effective approach. I would couple with that sandboxes. We've already seen for AI or even in digital banking areas, some of the regulators, especially the central banks, allow for a sandbox approach. What do we mean by sandbox? Potentially for AI pilots in selected sectors. So I flag potentially logistics and manufacturing as areas that could be near-term priorities, especially for collaboration. What does it mean if you're in the sandbox? Potentially mandatory disclosure reporting, for example, energy usage. Now, this is something that was brought up in our presentations. Do we actually know that the life cycle emissions and energy use for the application? I think His Excellency, when he did his opening this morning, talked about potentially an AI-related search could be 10x a regular internet search, 10x energy usage. So within the sandbox, how do we make sure we get the proper data that we need to measure and that transparency mechanism is working? And factoring in the life cycle impacts as well, the building of the data center, what proportion of that goes into each usage as well.
Thank you so much, Kun Andrew, in a very short time. Now I go to Kun Diera. In your professional views in ASEAN Foundation, and you also mentioned in your presentation on digital divide. And as you know, ASEAN at the moment, we are going forward for digital transition. So in your professional insight, how can ASEAN strengthen digital inclusion and align with ESG social goals to involve and benefit civil society and local communities? Can this digital transition and involvement with local communities, can this be part of the potential area with, between ASEAN and Korea? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I think under the ASEAN, AI Ready ASEAN program, we believe that each stakeholder brings a unique strength, ranging from the CSO, they have like a strong network in the grassroots level. They also align with the multiple social impact values ranging from SDGs, ESG, JETC principles. While on the government side, they're already familiar, seeing in the big picture, they have the power to influence and scale up the program. While from the industry sector, they have like the technology and funding. I think we should gather and make it into, and integrate it into one initiative. So each of them, they have like their own strength. So through this collaboration, I think we could achieve and transitioning the digital collaboration and ensuring not only into the, we are approaching the grassroots level, engage with the communities, ensuring no one left behind, but also bringing into the table, discussing together how we solve this, how we address these issues, and creating more into actionable plan and strategy. So this is, this could create like a shared sense of belonging to empower the communities in terms of AI, in terms of AI development. Also, I've seen that a lot of potential avenues to collaborate with Korea, especially like, as I mentioned before, like R&D side, and then research, joint collaboration, like piloting the program, and then sharing best practices, expert and knowledge, talent exchange. So I think there's a lot of potential avenues that we could optimize it to ensure that everyone, not only in the ASEAN, could also benefiting, could have the benefit under the rapid AI development globally. So I hope it answered the question.
Thank you, Kun Diera. And the last question will be for Kun Andy. Looking at your takeaway, one of your takeaways, you mentioned about the investment in order to secure AI competitiveness, especially for the companies. And you also mentioned about private and public sector, public-private sector. And I just want you to elaborate more, especially on the last element. It's something that ASEAN is looking forward, but it's a very difficult element that ASEAN will have to tackle itself with this element. So could you elaborate more in order to maybe to have it as one of the potential area for ASEAN and Korean dialogue cooperation?
AI technology is the growing very rapidly. So, as you know, at the unprecedented the pace. So, every company and government is looking after that technology. So, first, we have we face the digitalization, the era, and then immediately we are going to the AI, the transformation era. So actually the first investment is very big. So we invest the infrastructure of digitalization as well as the AI, the infrastructure. So and then we are also looking forward to get the return, the achievement. So firstly, we have the long-term strategy between the Korea and ASEAN. The Korea is pursuing the sovereign, the AI, the infrastructure, and then the AI tools of each module. So we can start with the small pilot subject with the Asian country. So Korea leading the AI, the entire infrastructure, and then each module. So how to solve the tons of data and then the complexity. So with the AI tool, and then you have the squad group with the Asian country. So the working together, the collaborate together, and then you can find the common goals in the very near future. Yeah.
Thank you, Queen Andy. And I'm reminded by the monitor that we have 3 questions from the audiences. So I'm very happy that it's after lunch, you're all awake. With the time that we are having, the remaining time, please make it concise and go right to the point. The first question is to Kun Burin. Idea of using nuclear tech as enabling data center for accelerating AI adoption in ASEAN is very interesting because it's low carbon electricity that can overcome climate change issue. But the nuclear approach also has crucial risks in long term about radioactive waste. How do we can manage this risk and leverage nuclear tech safety and sustainable in long run?
Okay, so thank you for the question. Let me tell you correct you a little bit, that actually nuclear is zero carbon. So there's absolutely no carbon emitting from using nuclear. Obviously, there are obvious risks that we have with the nuclear waste, but I think that can be managed. I think what they do now in Europe or someplace, they just basically sealed it and put it underground. Hopefully, no one finds it. I think another option is just to deal with it, just package it together and ship it outside of the world. Take it outside of this world. Because we have satellite technology. So I think that could be another way that we deal with it. But I don't think that nuclear will help with AI adoption. It will help power the AI, but AI adoption is up to the government, the legal framework, and the willingness of people to change. But I think we need it. But I think so far that we haven't done it is because the cost is too high. Fossil fuel is cheap. Coal, petrol, and natural gas is cheap. So if we don't have the right incentive, people don't switch. So unless we put carbon tax in ASEAN and then force people to say, okay, maybe we should not pollute the world anymore, we should switch into clean energy like nuclear. But that said, nuclear is getting cheaper. I think once the Chinese can produce it, it's going to be a lot cheaper. So let's wait for them to start adopting nuclear in large measure. Okay, I'll give it to Andrew now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The second question is to Kun Andrew. What is your opinion on the role of AI in increasing the efficiency of cooperation, especially SMEs, potentially leading to a reduced workforce in some areas, but also contributing to the creation of more SMEs?
Thank you for that question. I'll draw a parallel before I answer this directly to net zero response. So when we talk about net zero response, we look at existing businesses. How can you decarbonize? Then we say, actually, there is a whole bunch of new growth businesses, green growth areas, whether you say it's agri-tech, clean tech, renewable energy sector, etc. There's a lot of growth opportunity. Now, if we say we draw that parallel to the SME side of things, so I say, yes, for SMEs, applying AI can lead to increase of efficiency. And I'd say that's a good thing, because in a globally competitive environment, if you're not looking at ways to get more efficient and someone else does it, your business is at risk. But we don't have to like it, because changing and change management, humans are not so comfortable with change. So if you say it could disrupt jobs, it's not something we like. But is it something we should try to change the mindset, to embrace, to say it's creating efficiency and it releases people back into the workforce who may be able to better deploy their skills into some of the new growth areas? Okay, so it's managing that change process. We say the same thing, let's say incumbent oil and gas business. I think there was an earlier point about disrupted jobs. Because fossil fuel is going to slow down and we may exit coal, no new investments, some of those jobs will be displaced. It doesn't mean all those jobs automatically will fit into new green growth jobs. It's not a one-for-one replacement. People who are trained to be offshore oil rig workers may not be very good at installing solar panels or wind turbines. It's not necessarily a one-to-one, so it needs proper analysis and study to look at what that skill set is better suited to, or to the social discussion, the training. I think almost all panelists mentioned training and capability building. It's clear to us that there needs to be a proper matchmaking, but I'd say corporate sector and education sector, can you better signpost what skills we need in the next 5-10 years and already engage with education providers to start building that now?
Thank you very much. The third question is for Kun Diera. You mentioned that ASEAN Foundation is cooperating with Google for AI-ready ASEAN initiative. How was this collaboration made? What are some specific projects being facilitated with Google?
Yeah, thank you. Well, actually, Google only on this site, we are working with the google.org, the specific department who focusing on the philanthropic side and social impact side. So the Google providing funding to the ASEAN Foundation because we have numerous partnership with the Google previously, like we have like a ASEAN Digital Literacy Program. We have also IM, I forgot the abbreviation, but this is focusing to empower MSMEs across ASEAN. And then we have another program with Google, we call it like anti-scam program that we are currently working on it. So I think Google is really believe on the expertise and network that ASEAN Foundation has because, we have like, network ranging not only from the CSO side, but also from the policymakers and our job. So this is a very I don't know, I call it like a blessing in disguise, because we can crafting into one initiative, so we can connecting the our CSO, so civil society organization, with the policymakers and also industry expert, make it into one of them become like the AI Ready ASEAN program, because ASEAN Foundation has the resources, so we're trying to optimize it and bring like a more impact to the society, especially the ASEAN community. So yeah, I think that will be all from me.
Thank you very much. The 3 questions has already been answered from the audience. Before concluding, may I also ask all speakers, each speakers, to give 3 words on what are the most important elements in your perspective in bridging sustainability and inclusive innovation. With that, can I just pass to Kun Andy, and then we come this way. I'm not copying the opening ceremony from the AI. This has been arranged.
Thank you. Yeah. In conclusion, so to clarify the subject, so AI-driven innovation is so rapidly growing. So also, you are going to the tipping point in the AI era. So moving forward, when you get to the tipping point, everything happens in an unexpected way. So you need to prepare a lot of things. So you made a lot of the job opportunity from the AI, the infrastructure. So before that, you need to balance both sides, and then you need to set up the AI, human-centered AI governance, which is very essential to prepare in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Kun Andy. Kun Diera?
Yes, I think if we would like to discuss about the AI development, 3 things is important from our side. The first one is cooperation. Cooperation, and then inclusivity, to ensure that AI development is not benefiting the one from urban areas or big cities, but also from the remote areas. And the third one is empower. Through these 3 words, we hope through collaboration, through through inclusivity, we could empower not only the ASEAN community, but the global community as well, and not just only benefiting the true economic, but also to put people first. So, yeah.
Thank you. Kun Andrew?
3 words, so I would do A, K, and C.
AKC, okay.
It has many meanings. It could be the ASEAN-Korea Center. It could be, I saw my suitcase yesterday, has 3 letters, A, K, and C.
Oh.
It's for my name as well. But actually, my A, K, C are action. So action now. Progress over perfection. We saw COP 30 is approaching, means we've had 29 already. Progress. So A for action. K for knowledge. Knowledge and transparency. So data, the data issues we have, being more transparent with data allows more people to do good. C, similar, collaboration, especially government-led. Not just in helping set policies and tone, also how government decides to spend money. Typically the biggest purchaser in every single country. That is a strong signal if government uses its procurement policy to align with its own commitments.
Thank you, Kun Andrew. Kun Burin?
I was trying to come up with some clever way, like like my friend here, but I can't think on the spot. So I'm going to go with OOC. I'm not trying to do with triple O's, but I can't come up with the third O. So my first O is open-minded. You really have to be open-minded with the new technology. Be like when you're a kid. You're just open-minded. You're just curious to learn what this can lead to. You don't know. You don't put up an obstacle, a wall. You just go with the flow. I think you have to be open-minded. Second, I think you have to be optimistic. Because I think, we talk about the upside and the downside that AI could bring. But if we just focus on the negative sides, people fear of losing jobs. But, like Andrew said, we might free up some of the people from this boring, repetitive work. We could put them in more, highly skillful, highly beneficial to the society and the economy. So I think look at this as opportunity. You have to be really optimistic. Don't focus on the downside. In your team, I think you work with lots of people. There are some people who only focus on the negative side, and you don't want to be that person when it comes to AI. The last but not least is change. I think change will be coming. You have to embrace change. I think change to our way of thinking, our way of work. I think in the past 3 years and the previous decade I've seen so much change happening to work. Since COVID, we work from home, we use AI. There's lots of change. So change will be ever more coming at a highly terrifying rate. But we got to embrace it, enjoy the ride, I would say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is the best way in concluding this session. So please give a round of applause to the 4 distinguished speakers.